Well, I think it's probably fair to just start calling it the Scale Bashers Guild. Welcome back to the Scale Builders Guild. Thanks again for watching. Today we're taking a first look and a sort of unboxing of the new Losi Tenacity Lasernut U4 buggy. They're calling this a rock racer, and based on the footage that I shot, it's definitely a rock racer. Now, I will preface this first look and review and running video and unboxing with the fact that I'm not really a basher. I haven't done a lot of bashing. I've got the Traxxas UDR, and now I've got this Lasernut rock racer. And I will tell you, it's been a while since I've had a smile that big on my face when driving something new. This is fun. It's a lot of fun. So let's get to the unboxing. Great, that's done. But before I get too deep into the actual fun part, let's talk a little bit about the truck and what it's based on, and you can see just how little I know. So this is a Losi truck. It's based off the Tenacity platform. What I understand that to be is some sort of all independent suspension, aluminum flat panel chassis buggy platform. And they've made a bunch of different vehicles off of that platform, this being the latest, and in my opinion, definitely at least the greatest looking. This is a very cool looking buggy based on the actual real Lasernut chassis. These are raced in Ultra 4 King of the Hammer style races. Cody Wagoner is the guy who pilots these trucks, and I don't know who makes them, but maybe he's the same guy that makes them too. If you do know, and you probably do, because you probably know more than I do about this stuff, put a comment down below and correct me and all of the things that I get wrong going forward. Ultimately though, this is a very cool looking buggy, and I think the thing that really appeals to me about the looks is how accurate and scale it looks. That's what really gets me going. This looks like the full-size truck. It's a great replica. There's a lot of really nice plastic molded pieces added to the Lexan body to make it look real. All of these cutouts, all of these intakes, they're all plastic molded and attached to this Lexan body. There's also a lot of lights. There are drivers. There are really cool flexible tubes that run into the air pump that would pump fresh air into the helmets of the drivers. There are rear view mirrors. There is a non-functional molded winch underneath the body. And you're saying, why would they even bother doing that? Because it's cool. Scale details are king. And when you can get it right and make it look as good as this, you're selling people that maybe might not be into bashing and getting them into bashing and having some fun, like myself. There's a lot of really other cool molded in details aside from the front fog lamps and light bar. There's also a cool looking exhaust on one side here, and this nice functional spare tire and carrier on the back as well. They've got even the radiator fans on the back, and a decent interior. It is pretty shiny. Could use a dull coat or just a nice coating of dust. Functionally, there is a lot going on in this truck, lots of power. It is set up out of the box for 4S batteries, as they include the Spectrum 130 amp Smart ESC and a 1900 kV brushless motor. It is definitely meant to move, and under 4S power it gets going. It's scary because it is big. Since this is a smart capable ESC, I'm using a Spectrum 4S 5000 milliamp hour 100C battery, which gives you tons of runtime. And because it is smart capable, the included DX3 radio will show you some telemetry for your battery strength on the actual controller. Nice feature to have. I really like the smart Spectrum kind of world. Everything works really well, and this is no different. And while we're talking about the radio, this is actually pretty decent included radio. 3-channel, giving you an extra channel here to goof around with. You've also got your steering rate, brake rate, and trim for throttle and steering. One other benefit to the smart ecosystem is that this car includes AVC. So, if you are, a beginner like I am in bashing, turn that AVC all the way up to keep it going straight. and it does correct, and there is a lot of video that I shot where you can actually see it correcting itself as it's going down a nice long straightaway. Very cool to see, and works really well, so nice that they included that. Aside from the cosmetic beauty of this truck, there is a lot of actual strength built into it. This is a huge, long piece of stamped aluminum, and it is a very rigid chassis. Both of the shock towers are also like 3 or 4 mil thick aluminum shock towers, so lots of strength there too. The shocks are aluminum bodied and capped, and both front and rear arms are also nice, big, strong molded plastic. I definitely did put this truck through its paces on its first run. Only problem I had was stripping out the rear wheel. You make sure that all your lug nuts are torqued down really well before you get started, especially on 4S. Oh, by the way, if you do want to run this truck on 3S and maybe not go to ludicrous speed, you can do that. Losi includes a pinion just for 3S so you don't overtax the battery or the motor or any of the other things. Losi and Lasernut also include this cool dog tag, and if you're into wearing dog tags or whatever, you've got one right there, so pretty neat. In order to make AVC kind of function over the long term, there's a really nice servo saver on this servo, 200 ounce-inches of torque on that servo. I did find that it wasn't super strong and not super fast. And in a basher, I think you probably want speed and some strength there as well. But it did totally work just fine, no failures, and will turn the vehicle, both left and right. There is a front and rear sway bar. This rear sway bar isn't as functional as the front one, only because it's mounted into the cage, which isn't a structural element of the car. It still works, but I don't think it works as probably well as one that would be mounted directly to the chassis. There is a center differential and of course a front and rear diff. I don't have any information on what diff fluid was included. I'm sure it's not something that I'm ever really going to play with, but there is a lot of tunability and customizing you can do to make this truck perform to your standards. Also, a really nice feature that they included on this truck: functioning lights. The light bar and the 2 front fog lamps all work. Nice big strong white LEDs on the light bar and yellow LEDs for the fog lamps, which I think is really cool. Yellow fog lamps seem to work better at night and in the dust. And this buggy kicks a lot of dust up, I'm not gonna lie. Overall, a really fun experience. These big 5 3/4 inch BF Goodrich KM3s look awesome. Nice style for a 2.2 3.0 style wheel and tire combo. I love these bronze or copper wheels. I think that's, you know, a pretty mainstay for all the Lasernut trucks. And you can get 2 different body colors, this black and red or white and blue. I'm really kind of impressed with the overall looks of the truck, and coming from a more scale accurate background, that's something I'm always going to be kind of looking at first, is how does the truck look? How does it perform? Always is going to come second for me. And while this truck looks great, I think it actually performs even better than it looks. It definitely took a lot of abuse from what I was able to throw at it. Not a lot of jumps for me, not really my thing. I think this truck could definitely handle it though. These are some pretty big bore shocks, and it's a pretty beefy chassis. They've got these nice plastic inserts built into the aluminum panel, which really kind of helps keep the rocks and debris out of inside the chassis. I still managed to get a lot of rocks in there on this adventure because of where I was driving it. It definitely held up and took a lot of abuse, and I was definitely kicking it up, trying to really put this truck through its paces. I'm really impressed though. Overall, I think it was a lot of fun. I'm definitely, if this is what bashing is going to, and if this is where Losi and other companies are going to take it, I'm all for it. The more realism, the better, I say. One of the other things I've noticed from companies like Losi in the past is that they didn't spend a lot on licensing. And this truck is an entirely different beast altogether. We've got the Lasernut license, we've got Fox branding, we've got BF Goodrich licenses, Armada Engineering, which I believe is the company that actually manufactures the real chassis. We've got Warn as a license member as well, and that's why there's a winch included on this car. raceline wheels. It's just really nice to see, and for me, it adds a lot of realism to the truck overall and makes it more appealing to people who are already into the full-size racing scene or Ultra 4 scene. They say, I've seen this truck before, I want to get exactly this truck, and now you can, and that is a pretty cool feature. They've really kind of done their homework, and I think it looks really awesome. I think it looks even better, a little bit dirty. I did plan on doing a proper unboxing, but those are pretty boring, let's be honest. You get the truck, you get some batteries, and you get a transmitter. There is a decent included instruction manual as well. It goes through a lot of the features, and there are some parts explosions, so you can see all of everything that goes into this car. And it tells you exactly how to use it in a few different languages, so you can also brush up on your German if you need to. So there you go, first impressions and a look at the new Losi Tenacity Lasernut U4 Rock Racer. And I have to say, I might be a convert. I can definitely see more bashing happening in the future. Thanks very much to Losi for sending me this buggy, and thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you get updates anytime there's a new video from the Scale Builders Guild. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon.